Richard, are you with us?
I am.
All right, great. So what
Thank
we're
you,
going to do
Henry.
now is, Karen, this is a break, split the video in half. This is where we're going to move into a new tool that we have, we started, I started this a year ago, and it worked really, really good. And then I got involved in ranking factory building, but all of the factory products took precedent. And then I was talking to Richard one day about it, and he said, well, you know, you had that little tool that would help us maybe index and rank. Why don't we try to see what we can do with it? And it's basically called the GEO RSS sitemap generator. So what I want everybody to answer this for me real quickly, and I'm going to bring Richard on here in a second. How many of you think sitemaps are important? Give me a 1 if you think they're important, and 2 if you just don't use them because you don't care. All right. Awesome. See, I told you, Richard, when you came on, that we have a lot of very, 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 very smart people here. Okay? So you know they're important. Now here's the next question. And be honest with me, I'm not going to look at any names. How many of you forget to use them on your sites, or your customers don't use them on their sites? Guilty. Me. Yep. Sometimes. Yep. So we know that they're important, but we forget. And it's just the way that we are, which is fine. But we're going to show you something today that we've been playing with. Alejandro says, knowing it's half the battle, and I forget anyway. Yeah, right. Okay. We're going to be going down this road, and we're building a lot of different environments with sitemaps, and some of them are going to be pretty cool. But in this particular case, if you do some research, I'm going to pull up a website in a minute and share something with you. But if you guys do research, Google at some point in time gave a list of 9 different sitemaps we should use. One of them was called a GEO RSS sitemap. Okay. And at some point in time between now and 9 years ago, there's been some discussion or the fact that they don't really look at it or whatever. But I want to share with something today that's going to prove that theory wrong. And the other point that I want to make is within WordPress, everybody on well, never mind, don't do that. I'll do it in a second. I'm going to have Richard do it for me. Richard, I'm going to make you the presenter. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to open up a new browser for me, if you would. Everybody say hi to Richard, by the way. Richard Roy is a friend of mine. He's an AdWords guru. He's the one that's coming out with the new AdWords factory that we're going to be building here very shortly to help everybody with AdWords. He is. How many of you guys in here classify yourself as nerdy geeks? Anybody? Anybody besides Keith Ayers, who's a nerdy geek in here? Okay, that would be me. That would be me. That would be me. Guilty again. All right. Well, let me tell you, you and Richard are going to get together very good because he's the nerds geek. Okay. I'm telling you, you know, I can't stand testing shit, but he loves it and he forces me to do it, and I hate him for it. But so open up a new browser and go to WordPress.org or wherever we find plugins, please. Okay. Everybody see his screen? Everybody okay? Yes. We're going to have a little fun with this today, but we want to teach you something. And what oh, Tim Judge, you bet. Is that your domain? WTF Amazing Nerds. By the way, Richard has 8,000 domains. So if you put one in here, by the time you're finished typing it, he's bought it. Okay. Just really,
I'm not going to do that today, though.
Okay. So under plugins, I want you to type in GEO RSS sitemap. Okay, so what I want you to see there, you forgot the word, it doesn't matter, but you could have typed in sitemap, but I want you to look at what these are. These are sitemaps. These are not sitemaps. These are just geo plugins that you could use for plugins like Street, Mashup, whatever. But you'll notice that if you type in the word sitemap behind that, okay, you're gonna find that there are very, very, very few things that show up under Geo RSS sitemap. Why? Because they don't exist except me. I am the only one in the entire universe that has this, that's published it for public use anyway, right? You guys, so this little test, would you agree with me that what I'm about to show you doesn't exist in WordPress.org? Yes? Give me a 1 if you believe me. Okay? I got 3 people that believe me and 4 that told me to go to hell. All right, that's fine. That's not a problem. Okay, so let's go back to what we built. Here's the idea. Okay, how many of us believe that when we're dealing with local, geo tags are relevant? Yes? Highly relevant, right? So if we're building a site and there's a way for us to tell the search engines that our site is geo relevant, then you guys would think that would be important, right? The next thing is, we always have to run the race with Google on indexing. And so I'm going to shut up here, and I want you guys, all right, I got one more thing to say. How many of you in here know Gary, my partner Gary? Yes? I'm going to give the first person in here this free tool. Well, it's going to be free to you if you can type in the one word that Gary says when he's amazed. Anybody got it? Go to Walmart and get your what? Your what? No, it's not. Okay, Dante Steele. Depends. Go get your depends. Right? So Dante, you get a free plugin. All right? Awesome. Diapers doesn't work, Tim. It depends. All right, I'm done. We're having fun, but okay. Richard, take the wheel, baby.
All right. Let me slide all of this stuff over. Can everybody see my screen
let's do
okay?
one thing. I'm sorry, Richard.
Go ahead.
Let's let Richard go through this, okay? And you guys write your questions in here, but I want Richard to kind of go through this process without breaking it up with me unless I decide to break in. But we'll answer all the questions at the end, okay? Everybody okay with that? All right, cool. So this is a WordPress plugin for right now.
For right now.
Well, we may make it a SaaS, but right now it's a WordPress plugin.
So, all right. Well, I'm gonna start just kind of right from the top, and so once you install the plugin, there's a few things that you can set up. You've got to enter your Google Map API key. You can check off whether you want to submit to Google or Bing. The type of either a post or a page. You can exclude pages, and so on the main setup page, what you can do is you can build a default list of geolocations. And so this is one of a few sites that Pat and I've been testing. And so this particular instance,
by the way, it doesn't matter. It's
What's
worldwide.
that?
It's
Yeah.
worldwide. So you can put your local postcode in Poland in there and it'll work.
Right. And so this particular example, we wanted to test zip codes. And so we grabbed a batch of zip codes, dropped them in. And so you can see down here, by default, if we don't do anything else with our short code, this will be kind of the default set of geo pins that we've generated, and so I'm going to kind of stop right here on zip codes, and I wanted to mention that sometimes when you're doing zip codes or even counties, Google is not infallible, as I'm sure some of you have figured out. Sometimes you punch in a zip code and Google will set you in Africa someplace. So when when you're using zip codes, you always want to check and make sure that you don't have something that shows up in a foreign country. But for the most part, it's the Google API is pretty accurate. The other thing that you can do after you build this master list is you can enter individual locations, and so this just happens to be a client that Pat and I are working with in Jacksonville. So we entered their business address, and then after you're done setting all of this up, you can export all of this into a CSV file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my spreadsheet over here. So you can actually, you can export all of that data into a spreadsheet. And so if you want to spin it or use it with some of the other tools.
Backlink factory.
Yep. So, and I don't use those tools as much as a lot of you do. Most of my focus has been on pay-per-click, but I'm always looking to augment my paid traffic with free traffic. So,
and we're going to show you something that's going to freak you out. I think it did me this morning.
Yeah, I hope so. So that's kind of so just kind of going down through the rest of the setup. You can schedule how many times you want to run the sitemap. All right, so you got a couple, handful of different settings there, and then down here at the bottom, you'll connect it to FeedBurner.
How many people think RSS feeds are important? Yes? No? Indifferent? Never use them? RSS feeds. Are they important? Not used. Wow. Co-occurrences. Absolutely, Stan. Helpful to rank. Rick, shame on you. Yes. Well, here's the thing.
Patrick, you could ask another question. If anybody has an IFTT ring with more than one ring around it, then they should be using RSS feed to feed those secondary and third rings that you attach to the IFTT network.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Super point.
So one of the things, so that's it for setup, and then there's short code that you use on the pages. So this is the other thing too. As you create out these individual ones, you can get unique short code for each geolocation if you want to. So one of the things that I was giving Pat a hard time about for a while was I told him, when we were testing, we needed to see the needle move, and I didn't feel like we could talk about this tool with anybody until we saw the needle move. And so with all the testing that we've done, we've started to see the needle move, but we actually saw the needle move in an interesting way, which I'll show you here in a second. But I wanted to just also touch on, let me jump over here real quick. So I want to start with just the way that I structure my robots.txt file, and I wanted to point something out, which I'll show you here. But I've got a sitemap.xml file, which is a WordPress plugin that I'm using, and so the GeoRS plugin what it does is it actually generates the sitemap geo RSS XML file. And so we point to it here in the robots.txt file, and then I've got an HTML-based sitemap. And so one of the problems, I'm sure, you know, anybody that's building stuff with WordPress that you've run into, and you're doing anything with sitemaps, there's always an occasion where one tool conflicts with a, you know, if you've got two different sitemap tools, you run into conflicts once in a while. And so we haven't run into that with GeoRSS because it generates a separate file, so you can still run, you know, whatever plugin you're using to generate the sitemap.xml file. And then I always run an HTML-based sitemap. There's a video out there with Matt Cutts, and it's interesting. Even though Google says they like to see you know, a structured sitemap, it doesn't guarantee that it'll get crawled. And Matt Cutts in his video actually kind of stated that he would recommend that you always use an HTML based sitemap, because Google will crawl it, where there's no guarantee that Google will crawl an XML based sitemap. So I put all of my sitemaps in my robot.txt file, and then I've got them linked on my internal pages as well. So I'll show, let me pull this over. So what I started doing was I wanted to see if saw any movement, and so I'm just some results with some pages. So I've got stuff showing up in Bing, Yahoo, and I've got a couple that are starting to show up in Google. So I was able to see some movement, but what I wanted to show you was it wasn't the pages initially, it was the tags. So
Kind of take note of this, guys. This is kind of interesting.
right. So and I think I've got a page pulled up with it, but so when I started creating the pages, I started adding some different tags, and you can kind of see them down here. Well, it was actually the tag pages that were getting indexed. So, and let's see, right? So, so here's one that I showed Pat this morning, and it's interesting. So the actual page, so down payment assistance, St. Augustine, Florida. It's the tag that's showing up in this this box here, and then I've got another page, number 2 under it, and then you can see down here. Here's my tag that's actually getting displayed up here in this box. Well, Pat, so I'm searching from Dallas. Pat did the exact same search from where he's at in Maryland, and he also underneath this had the Q&A pop up. So it's interesting. There are a lot of little things that kind of all tie together, you know, with what Henrik was talking about earlier. But I've been experimenting with adding Q&A to a couple of pages. So this just happened to be one of them where I added some Q&A schema, and so now we're going to experiment with this some more because we've been able to get a tag indexed and to show up at the top of the search results. And
So I just have to stop you. And I know that this is Bing, but you notice underneath the first down payment assistance, you can upvote this. So at the end of this, we're going to give everybody this link and have you upvote it. But I thought it was also interesting that we're in the 0 spot. Everybody see that? and they've highlighted all and highlighted all the words. But this is how many of you guys think this is pretty cool? This is pretty ridiculous, right?
Yeah, I'm going to click on this. Okay.
And we're not doing anything else to mess with this, right? This is just using the techniques that Richard is sharing within the plugin. And I know that there's a lot more things that we could do, but it's so Hendrik, what do you think about that? Because when you first started to test it, you were like, well, it doesn't really whatnot, but now seeing some of the results we're getting, what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's marvelous that you can get say results at least in Bing. What I was complaining about was the plugin didn't work like I expected when I first tested it, but if it's giving that kind of results, everybody should use it. Can I just pop in a little sneaky trick in terms of GMBs?
Yes, sir.
Because many people ignore Bing Places, but if you have a GMB verified, you can import that directly into Bing Places. So at the same time, you can actually have Bing Places and the GMB, and as long as they have been verified by Google, there's just an import button, say okay, and bang, it's done. Immediately you're up and running on Bing with Bing Places.
Wow.
Very cool.
Why not, right? Why not?
You should. You're verifying your entities.
Absolutely. It's another entity, right? That's awesome. All right, sorry, Richard. I just had to bring that up.
No, that's okay. It's so kind of the next phase is I'm going to be on a couple of different sites, and this one I'm getting ready to I don't want to say mass page generation, but I'm going to start testing 20, 30 pages and monitoring. The thing that I've always figured out just over time and doing this for a while is, once you've got a pulse and you've got something showing up, then I know I can move it, I can move it up the ladder. It's just like I know right now some of these results aren't showing up in Google. This particular site happens to be a fairly new site that I'm running ads on, and so I know it'll be a little bit of time, but I'll have it showing up in Google as well. So not too worried about that, but interesting that geo pins. I've got a page that so this here's a page. I've got a couple of pages, and it's interesting. The only thing that I've got on the page is I've got a title, and I've got this map that shows up because of the GeoRSS plugin and the short code. I don't have any images. I don't have any other content on the pages, but just having a title and the geo map was all it took for the page to index.
Richard, I can tell you, I have several pages ranking just with my map and the title in the page, but I siloed them on the web page, so right. It's ranking position 1 and 2 for the search terms that I'm trying to hit at.
Yeah, very cool. Let me do. I'll jump over and I'll just grab a post and show everybody what. what it looks like. So when you when you pull up a post or you create a new post, what is going to happen is GeoRSS is going to load up at the bottom of the page.
This is
And
every
so
page that
these,
you have it on, right?
what's that?
It's for each page or post that you have that you're
Yes,
putting.
yeah, each page. So each page or post that you create, you can add, you can add custom pins to each page, and then you can export all of those pins, and then you just grab the, here's the short code down here at the bottom, and you can drop that into your page. So if you don't create any custom pin locations on your page or post, it will default to what you set it up with initially.
So in other words, what he's saying is that that first page we showed you with all those pins where you put all those zip codes in, that's the default. If you do what he's sharing with you, this is very specific. So you could do main city plus neighborhoods, yes.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm experimenting with right now, because I'm doing some stuff in the real estate space, I'm doing the city, I'm doing the county, and then I'm testing the property address. So any questions, Pat?
Nope. Well, not really. I told everybody to hang tight here.
Okay.
So you can do main city and neighborhood pins, yes. Hendrik said that he was siloing, city pages. Does it embed the pins map using short code? Yes, you just said that. Where do you put the Q&A schema?
Oh, good question. I'll show you. So let's see. So obviously, it's going to be a little different depending on the builder. Let me.
Awesome.
First of all, you put them in the page where you have an FAQ. And secondly, you can put them in the header or you can put them down in the body. That doesn't matter.
Yeah. And so, I'm using Divi. I've got a little block here for code. And so you can see, this Q&A, I actually did this myself. And so what I'm experimenting with is I'm trying to get my questions to show up for either a property, a city, or a business based on relevance, which I heard Henrik mention earlier. So I've already one of the things I did when when we started messing around with this putting the Q&A schema on the pages is I went and I tested my pages. So even with the code in the body of the page, it will still it'll still pass if you went to schema.org and used their page tester.
It's a question of if the bot is reading it, and
Yes.
it doesn't matter whether it's in the header, in the footer, or in the body, but it's normal practice to put it in the header. But you can stack several schemas in the header if you like. So if you have through sections with FAQs, like question and answers, you can actually put in two schemas, or you can make one big schema. That really doesn't matter. The way, what you could say, the important factor is if you put in FAQ schema, there has to be an FAQ on the page. If you're just trying to stuff it in order to see if you can rank, then you can get the opposite, that you actually be deranked. So schema has to relay to what is on the page.
So like you
Right,
can
and
see
that's typically like I've got schema on the home page. You know, and I started, you know, I've been experimenting with, you know, anywhere between 4 and 5 questions. But I'll have these, you know, if you went into, you know, looked at the schema on this page, it would match up with what I've got here.
cool. So adding some of these other things may certainly help us along the path of indexing and ranking. But the basic thing is we wanted to build something that could produce a little bit more geo relevancy and go into the just so we could show everybody how it actually works. Go into the sitemap, if you would.
Okay.
Generate a sitemap and let's pull it up and let's show people how that's actually getting pushed out.
Right. Okay. Let me.
Mr. Quackenbush, I'm with you on a lot of this stuff.
So I'm just going to grab. So this is the sitemap page that GeoRS generates, and then I'll talk a little bit about what we what we worked through in programming. Unless you want to talk about it, Pat.
No.
Okay.
I'll let Henrik answer that question for you.
Right. Okay. So one of the things we actually spent a lot of time when we first started working with the programmers, we had all kinds of schema errors, and so we had to work through the errors, all of the errors. And so one of the challenges that we had was, okay, so you got a bunch of pins, and then we were going to have, we had an issue where all of the links were not being honored because they were all identical. And so what we decided to do was just append the page URL with a / data equals, and then we just plugged in the geo RSS coordinate that a single entry is related to, and so we just came up with a kind of a tricky way to make each link unique so that it wouldn't generate any schema errors. And so this is something that I'm going to be looking for over time, just to see if these unique links are getting indexed as well with the geodata attached to them.
So if you do Control F and type in latitude or whatever, I want you to show everybody how the geocode is in the sitemap. Okay, so latitude and longitude. For those that don't read sitemaps much. Okay, we're pulling in, like if you look down at the bottom of don't move your page. No, you moved it. You see the latitude and longitude geo coordinates right there. So they're all in here. Every one of those pins and every one of that we make is identified in the sitemap, and that sitemap is then converted and submitted. It's submitted, but then we convert it, so we can push it through your feed burner. Does anybody have an idea why we would want to push it through feed burner? Anybody have an idea? What good is feed burner? It will get crawled. Correct. Syndication out. Okay, so it's another way of telling Google through a Google property that there's information that's passing that it needs to look at, it needs to read, and needs to do something with. And so you can see where Richard has highlighted that. This is all passed in through the sitemap, right? So you have a combination of the geo, you got a combination of it being pinged and converted not only from the sitemap, which Google is supposed to read, okay, but now that it's being pushed through the feed burner, you get that syndication out. Does that make sense to everybody? You see how we're kind of like doing a double bubble here? And we are, and we have to recognize, and like Henrik said earlier, it's been broke. I mean, we've had to do a lot of work to try to fix this to get it to where it's at. Okay, and so we're still kind of working through this, but it's in a phase where, you know me, if I think it can be useful for you and I can make it cheap enough for you, then I want to make it so that you can get it, you can use it, see if it helps, test it, break it. It's a beta version of this, and we have some other ideas that we want to add to this. But for right now, the results that we were getting in the last 3 days made it so that I'm comfortable enough trying to have this out in your hands to use it and help make it better. Does that make sense to everybody? Because we're seeing the needle move, mostly in Bing, but as Henrik said, it's there. If it's being read by Bing, people will pick it up, right? So.
Yeah, and it's only a matter, and this is a brand new site. So I've got an aged site that's it's a directory site that is about 20 years old, and I'm actually going to probably this weekend I'm going to start testing GeoRSS on an aged site and see how fast it takes for stuff to index. So, but this domain here, like I said, this is a fairly new domain, and I've already got stuff showing up. So it'll be interesting to see what results some of you in the group get.
Okay. Okay, any questions? Would it be fine to use such tools also with other CMS systems with Word, WP Engine, HTML code? This is fine as far as we can tell so far. It's not conflicting. Can we manually add the GMB map so it hits the RSS? Can we manually add the GMB map? If it's in your, I mean, if you add a map to your site and it's in your sitemap, then it will run through and hit the RSS automatically. It's all done in one.
Yeah, maybe give a little more information on what you're trying to do with it manually.
I think he's asking that if you have embedded your Gmap into a page where you also have the pins, as you have done, Richard, would both will both map be in the sitemap? That's what he's asking.
Yes, yeah, they are in the sitemap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing something else, so if anybody's asking a question, Henrik, can you take a look?
Yeah, I mean all of the map, all of the map information is going to be in this file right here.
Do I need a license? Yes, it's a one site license. I'm going to give everybody I gave you the link, and I've got discount codes for everybody. So how about any feedback, any thoughts? Yes, no, maybe. You know, I've wasted my time. You think it's good? You know, just give me some thoughts. Because we try not to make shit. We try to make something that's going to work and be relevant to help you, and spend a lot of time on this. Doesn't mean we can't make it better, but so here's the thing, and I'm going to check this. If anybody screws me, I'm going to come get your ass, okay? In the chat on the site, is everybody got the site? Is this just plug and play? Well, I don't know what you mean by plug and play. You have to fill out the information, John. It's not rocket science. This is pretty fill in the blanks. Put in your
I mean what you see here, you know, you've got to enter your Google Map API key. This link here is probably one of the best ones that I've seen as far as getting you right to you know, where you need to grab it, or you know, or grant permission for the, you know, if you're naming your domains or websites that can actually access the API. You know, I can do a video, Pat, if people need a video on you know, setting up their map API key. But this is it. I mean, other than your API key and setting up FeedBurner, that's all you need to do to use the plugin.
So I'm gonna pull up the page, the rankingstore.com/GeoRSS. I want to go over the variations we put in here so far real quick for everybody.
What's the URL again, Pat?
The rankingstore.com/GeoRSS. Let's see if Karen did her job right. I know Karen did. Okay. So click the button to make your selection if you're interested in this. We have a 1, a 5, and a 15 site license. Okay, so you can see there. Now look, these are the JV Zoo launch prices. Don't freak out. Okay, this is when we go launch this. This is going to be what they are. So how many of you in here right now with me are on Facebook and not a member of anything that we do? Okay, anybody on Facebook? Right? So if you're on Facebook, hang on a second. Okay, and you're not in any product that we have, there's a discount code, and Richard, you can type that in right now. All right, it's called GEO FB. Okay, and you hit apply, and that's the discount. Mastermind members, I'll send you the mastermind discount in the mastermind group. Okay, and if anybody in here is part of and has any of our products at all, then the discount code for you guys is GEOMEM, and I will check to see who uses this to our program. So hit that, GEOMEM. And if you pick the 5 license or the 15 license, you'll get the same discount relationship. Okay, you guys think I made it cheap enough for you? You know, I got to pay for the developer, but I want to make sure I get this in your hands. Right? You guys good with this price? Okay, think it's fair? Yeah, Gary, I'll talk to you. So anyway, that's what it is. you're going to get a thank you page. You're going to get a download. You're going to go to a Google Doc. You're going to get the zip file. But because we are just building this, I'm going to have to get your licenses to you probably by tomorrow. Is that okay? Because I got to get the developer to do the licensing. Eventually, it'll all be seamless. Okay. But right now, that's how we're going to rock and roll with this. Okay, Christopher, thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. So, how many of you guys are in on this deal? And mastermind members, just remember, I'll send the link in the mastermind link. Okay.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions getting it set up, you can just hit me up on Skype at Search Engine Pro.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. So those of you guys that are not mastermind members should probably think about that. We're going to do that. You guys that are Facebook and never bought any of our products, shame on you, but thank you for being part of information we could share with you to make your business better. And, we just really, Keith, mastermind is $97 a month and you get most all of our programs. So, but it's important for us to only bring you good quality stuff. So on a scale of 1 to 10, the stuff that we bring you, how would you overall rank, Ranking Factory, GMB Factory, Backlink Factory? You guys don't even have a clue what Megastack. Hendrik, talk a little bit about Megastacker to everybody and what's coming.
Yep. Yeah, what's coming?
Yeah, what's coming? Megastack. What is your synopsis, your short story, your cliff notes of Megastacker, Mega Cloud Stacker? Look at that. He's speechless. Speechless. Let me just say this. I was looking at the thread the other day, and one of our testers was able to stack 700 buckets in Amazon and did not break it.
Wow.
700 buckets in Amazon. Not that I would suggest that you do that. He was trying to break it. Okay. But this is really it's an amazing little tool, and Hendrik has had a lot of input on that as well. Evan, some really smart people, Stephen, and it's just crazy. Scott, we got some brains in here. What product am I talking about, John? It's a new one that we're going to be launching. Probably, I don't know. What do you think? A couple weeks, Hendrik? John says, I can't keep up with you guys. I can't keep up. Well, this is going to be a major one. So any last questions on Geo? Can you send us a replay? Gainer, yes. I will be obviously sending a replay out to everybody and, making sure that you all get that. Hendrik must have lost his connection.
No, can you hear me?
Oh, I got you now. There you go, buddy.
Yeah. I just have a problem with the screen here. Just a second. I'll try to open it again and see what happens.
Oh, do I need to make you a presenter?
I can do that myself.
Okay, cool.
But I didn't get the screen. That was the problem.
John, we're going to create a Skype group, and I'll put the Skype group for the Geo in. Christopher, the download link is on the thank you page to the Google document. Well, hit me afterwards. This will all be ready tomorrow, okay? But today's Thursday and tomorrow's Friday and today's the day I do webinars. So suck it up and be patient. That's why you're getting such a good price. Yes, Stan, we got to make the licenses tonight so that we can send them all to everybody tomorrow. Okay, this is a manual deal. We don't have it. We don't have all that automation hooked up yet. Okay, guys. Once I do that, I'm going to raise the price to you all $20. So you get a $20 discount because I'm not ready. How's that? Yeah, go ahead, Henrik.
I just turned it back over to you, Henrik.
Yeah, but I need to just leave and insert again because the window. Oh, there it comes. Okay, I'm in again.
Okay.
So, guys, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Now we do.
You can see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got
Okay.
you.
So what we have is a little program where you have what we call a PDF article editor and a PDF stack designer. We have an HTML designer as well. So those of you who have the Ranking Factory knows the HTML stacker. So let me just go in here, see if I can find previous little. That's not one we want.
I really hadn't intended on doing this, guys, but somebody asked, so and they know that we're working on this and they wanted to know what we were doing, so.
So you can see here I have a small PDF document, it's just plain text. When I go into my design stacker here and go in, choose my cloud accounts, get my buckets. And I'll go in and choose buckets. Blah, 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 blah.
Dang, man.
What?
Somebody's been busy.
I mean, you got lots of buckets.
No, I have reached the limits for Amazon several times.
No, have you?
What's it? What did I call them? Mega stack?
Mega stacker, yeah.
Oh, that's not on this account. Okay. Yeah. The mega stacker like there. There, I'm going, choose it on. Mega stacker, blum.
Okay, everybody's going to get this answer right. I know it. And I'm not giving anything away. Use bucket test 775, Scott says. I don't know.
So now I've chosen the buckets I want to use this document in, so add them to a stack, dumps. So now I have the stack here, so you can see I have the Google Cloud on top, so I want to move that down to the bottom. And why I want to do that? Because Google has the most power, so I siphon up the 100 to the next in the stack, which is Azure, and then, oh, I didn't move it. So like there, okay? And Amazon goes up there.
Hey, Henrik, this is kind of cute. Tim says buckets full of competition's tears.
I never heard that word before.
We're gonna make them cry, baby.
So when I've done that, I simply just say, okay, I can open it in the browser, and then I can go and hit Cloud Stack, and then we'll stack the document for me. But because I already have the document in there, I don't want to overwrite it once again. Right. But of course, what can I do? I can go and get the existing links counter from Google, maybe. So you can see I have the stack here. So I open that. Well, I shouldn't open my browser, but okay. Here we go. And here, oops, we go to the next in the stack. We go to the next in the stack. We go to the Mega Cloud Factory. Bingo. So what you can do, you can say, I'll just take 3 different accounts, but if I want to test another account, so if I have several accounts in the in Google, I can choose the account over here, and I can choose the buckets for that account, and I can add them to the stacking I have over here. So I can stack on stack on stack and stack on stack if I like. So what I can do, I can actually send this to an HTML stack and create an HTML stack. So if I hit this one, it should open my HTML stacker, and I should have the document over here, which I have. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And then I can go to my designer and I can design the HTML stack again. So what you could do is you could say the PDF that I actually designed over here, over here, it should, rather than going to whatever external link, I could go to the bottom of this stack over here. So the PDF that's on the top will hit the bottom of the other stack, which is the HTML, and then I stack the PDF up into the HTML, which is then going to my money site at the end of the day.
Did you still outrank us?
You mean for Mega Stacker?
Mm-hmm. To show you the power of this, guys. Look,
no, look. You're down here, and I'm down here. I'm at position, position 1 and position 0. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, screw you. Okay.
And you see, this is Patrick, this is Patrick, this is what? Henrik? This is Henrik, this is Henrik.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry.
But but look at, we got the images are showing up. You got PDFs that are showing up.
Who's this guy?
Some asshole trying to do a review on our program. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh dear, yeah.
Oh dear, look at that.
Who's that guy?
All right, I can delete you just as fast as I added you.
Well, I have some power that can blow you away if you like.
Oh yeah, I know. Anyway, that's enough of this stuff.
And did you see the videos? Just to mention.
I love it.
Yeah, I wonder who made those videos.
This one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
The video agency.
Oh, yeah, the video agency.
That's
Who's
cool.
that?
Ooh, that's cool, man. All right, enough of this. Somebody asked, and I didn't want to go down this road, but no, this is going to be in a couple weeks. But this one, I will have to tell you that you might have to sell a child or two. This is not going to be cheap. But in any case, it's extremely powerful, along with everything else that we do. And you can see how we're always concentrating on detail, always concentrating on quality and power, right? Power. So All right, thanks guys for being here. If any last questions on buying or getting in first, someone asked how long I'm going to leave this open. It's going to be open till next Wednesday till we do the, so anytime between now and then. The link for the Google document, should be on the site, and you can get there to download the zip file. This program with Geo RSS is automatically updated, so you're not going to get repeated exe files from us. It's done automatically. So that's kind of cool. We're going to be starting to go to that more often than not with this stuff. So very cool, man. I really appreciate it. Any last questions? Any last questions? John says, okay, this is a scene from Back to the Future. Here's a question from Keith Henrik. Where do all the links go to in the document that you stacked? I think we kind of proved that. They all go to your money site, right? The links in your stack.
The links that you are talking about, is that the links you saw in the document here?
Yeah. Oh, they can go anywhere you want.
Yeah.
And that's the whole, listen, the whole point, well, you can explain it, Henrik. Why did we do the PDF, right? And this is Gary's, this comes from Gary's brilliant, I don't even know how to explain his mind and how it works, right? But can you change where they go if the client quits? Absolutely. Just go in here and change your document.
Yeah.
Okay. But remember, in Facebook and all the social medias, when you put links in stuff, what happens to them?
They're gone.
They get evaporated or blocked or whatever, right? So in this particular process that we're doing, literally, you could take your website, put it into a PDF, listen to me, right? Or your affiliate program, which is why this was designed, and put it into a PDF. And when you load that PDF up on the social media, what happens to all the links in your PDF? Huh? Yes, you can, Tim. What happens to links that are in a PDF when you load it on Facebook? Somebody knows the answer to that.
It stays there.
They stay there. They don't get evaporated. So the whole reason we designed this was to create an environment where we can bypass and get around all of the social media ways in which they're taking our links out. And so this way we can beat them. Okay? Ron says, I can post a link to sell my kids. Absolutely. Just don't sell them too cheap. I know how valuable they are to you, Ron. Okay? So that's why we did it this way. And that's the power of being able to get what we want. And people can share this, and they're going to share it and share it and share it. And it's all going to be there. Does that make sense? The images inside the PDF, okay, they're going to stay images. They're going to have the metadata in them. Then it's not going to get stripped out. Okay, does that make sense, guys? It's a protective shield. Hey, maybe we should rename this, right? Shield Factory. What do you think? Pretty lame, right? Okay. All right, we're gonna let you guys go. What? Plus the actual PDF is readable. Well, of course it is. Right? Link Shield, Link Locker. Yeah, all those kinds of good things. All right, guys. We are pushing actually, Henrik, I got 10 more minutes to waste till 2 hours. Yeah, I was like, okay. We're good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Any last words or questions from anybody? No? Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Guys, get in this, get in the Geo thing. We're going to have some fun. We're going to play with it. We're going to make it better. And, we really, John, I said you have to sell a kid, or a kidney, right? You have 2 of them, you only need 1 kidney. So go donate a kidney and use some of the money to buy this, all right? All right, guys. Appreciate it. Have fun. Talk to you later.
All right,
Henrik,
everybody have a
awesome.
good day.
Thank you for helping. Richard,
You're welcome.
off the charts, man. Thank you. See you guys. Bye-bye.